Hello and good evening, traders. Tuesday evening, 18th of April, a little late tonight, 9:25 p.m. And the Nifty index managed a marginally negative close for the day, which means essentially on the daily time frame, we have two negative bodied candlestick. I will reiterate the fact that what's going on here is essentially nothing but a healthy corrective move post this pretty sharp, impressive one-way high momentum bounce back. If you remember yesterday, I was saying that the very opening bar on the 75-minute time frame was really relatively a longer one, and the range of that bar has not been taken out yet, even after today's trade. In fact, today's trade was interestingly starting off with an outside bar and closing it with an inside bar on the 75-minute time frame. What I mean by this is the opening 75-minute created a range, which towards the afternoon it broke and it has created an inside bar, means it's just taken a halt. What I make out of this is if 17,680 or these lows are broken yesterday, that is a move like this, then high chance that this big bar based on which we were looking for some directional clue will open up further downward movement towards 17,450, 500, this area. That's on the downside. On the upside, we have clearly noticed that the index has given us enough signs that 17,760, 17,770 kind of areas is where it is reacting from. So it has created some kind of resistance, which is not much of a surprise, because I always say in my sessions that when you have a long bodied candlestick, red, green, whatever, and it's relatively longer one, always give importance to the 50% mark or halfway mark of such long bodied candlestick. In this case, it was on the downside, so the more or less close to that 50% mark ideally tends to act as resistance, and if it's a green candle, tends to act as support. So resistance pretty decently defined. I would say 17,750 to 17,780 kind of range. I mean this area. And on the downside, if today's low is taken out, then definitely I think it's heading towards that 17,500 mark for sure. So that's on the downside. That's on the upside. I would say 60-40, the short-term trend has moved down. Momentum is definitely on the downside, 60% more on the downside and 40% on the bullish side. Yesterday, I also did say that let's have a selective approach towards the market. So stock selection becomes extremely important. We did see this in today's trade, that there were good opportunities on the long side. For example, in our program, we had a long position on Pidilite, which we were holding for 3 trading sessions, and that stock performed really well. I took it out from our sheets, from our trading close to that 2400, 2390, 2400 zone. That was in this area. But then that's exactly what I'm trying to say, is there will be opportunities like Pidilite and McDowell kind of stocks moved in today's trade. And if you remember yesterday's video, I mentioned about Jubilant Food, and that was a cracker right from the very beginning. It opened and shot up almost 2.5% in the very first few minutes of the day's trade. So opportunities will be there, and I think opportunities, specifically long opportunities, will be there within the smaller, medium to smaller section of the market. Now, I sense that the next 1 to 2 trading sessions, the index is likely to consolidate, correct further down. So if you trade smaller time frames like 60 minutes or 75-minute time frame, look for short opportunities which you would like to hold on max for 1 to 2 days, not more than that, because by that time the index probably will be ready to bounce back. Long story short, you need to be very selective about your counters and do not sit on your positions for too long, especially if you're going on the short side. Now, as we discuss the markets today evening, a quick look at the global markets shows that the US markets are predominantly on the downside, and this market is also slowing down after the phenomenal bounce back that across the board equity markets have given. If you take a look at crude is essentially consolidating right at the resistance levels. So I would consider this as a positive sign after the big gap up. It's holding well. And if you take a look at gold, it looks ready for maybe ready for a second leg of move on the downside if today or yesterday's lows are broken. Let's say 2000 on the COMEX. If that is gone, I can easily expect an A, B, C kind of a corrective move for gold. So we'll keep that in mind. In terms of the sectoral indices, it was Bank Nifty which held well, but I would say that the Bank Nifty back to back, has given us two negative bodied candles, and it's an inside bar here. It's showing some signs of slowdown, and this signs of slowdown is evident across most of the sectors. Take a look at auto, such a beautiful looking spinning top right after the hanging man. Beautiful stretch of gains from the Heiken-Ashi. It is telling us the price, the candles, the price behavior, price action is clearly telling us I'm stretched. I gave a beautiful run up and I would like to consolidate or correct. And that's more or less there across auto, banks, financials. IT, of course, has broken down and given us a bounce back. I would suggest you to stay away from any kind of trading opportunity in the IT pack. If it's investment, you may, but trading, I would not suggest so, because when we have the average daily range spiked up, the probability of the stop loss getting hit is very, very high. So IT, I would say avoid. Take a look at CNX Metal. This also has created a beautiful looking spinning top. Overall, pharma did pretty good move to today, and if we take a look at the sectoral stocks and scroll down towards the pharma stocks, there you go. You've got a big move of 6% coming in from Lupin. There you are. DV's Lab also close to 3.5%. Sun Pharma was relatively lesser, a little more than 0.5%, and then you have Dr. Reddy. You would notice that Apollo Hospital is down 1%, and Apollo Hospital is going through a 2-bar corrective move after this bounce back. So keep an eye on this counter. I think if the consolidation or correction is over, it might give us some move on the upside, if at all. But overall, pharma did well. Most of the other sectors took a break and consolidated. I doubt we will get thematic movement from the market going forward. Selective movement will be there. Bias is more on the downside. If I go with trades on the downside, I would not want to sit on it for more than a day or two. Right? So let's see what's in store for us tomorrow, midweek, Wednesday. I hope you've been trading well. Take care of yourselves. Trade well and trade wise.